Good morning, Lynn Christian. We're going to strong start your day. And we're going to talk about how to keep going. Austin Kleon is a person that we follow. We were honored to be able to work with King's English just a short while ago and help sponsor him here when he released his book, Show Your Work. We have everything that Austin Kleon has published. He is a man who writes, he's an artist, but truly he's somebody that maybe you'd like to be like, someone who's living his life, earning his living, doing things that inspire him and also inspire other people. And like I mentioned, his first book was Still Like an Artist. Show Your Work was his second book. We're going to review his book today, the third one called Keep Going. And if the world seems a little crazy and it's hard to be creative and innovative, it's hard to be your own badass self, you might find these 10 things that he puts in his book of how to keep going. Great tools for you to use to plug into your best, truest self, to stay creative and strong and to not go crazy with all the craziness that's going on. So let's go through each chapter and find out if we can just kind of connect you to some of his messages. The first one is, every day is Groundhog's Day, meaning that you can take one day at a time every day. You don't have to solve what's going to happen in a week. You don't have to solve what's going to happen in a year right now. Just take today, do the best you can in the day, and that's one way to stay grounded in the present and also to connect to your creativity, your innovation, and your badass self. Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about building a bliss station. Now, bliss station can be anything that puts you in a place where you can connect with the prefrontal cortex, you can listen to your heart, your gut instincts. You need to disconnect from the world. So one of the best things to do is to watch less news. I'm not saying be an ostrich and put your head in the sand. Watch less news. Spend more time in a bliss station. For me, it's putting on a headset, putting a timer on so I don't have to worry about when I'm going to stop focusing and jump into the focus that I have before me, whether it's writing a book, sending out emails, or doing some reading. Find a bliss station. Chapter 3. Forget the noun, do the verb. Creativity is not a noun. A lot of us want to be creative or we want to be rich. There's something we want to be. Forget about the thing you're trying to be and do the work that gets you to where you want to be. Some of us are just chasing around. I think one of the saddest stories was Langley, who was given all the money that he could possibly need, all the support that he could possibly need to help us figure out how to fly. And he was busy turning around the world, talking about flight, trying to be that person who was going to bring flight to the human beings. Well, Orville and Wilbur Wright weren't worried about being called that first person. They were out there every day slugging it away, bringing 5, 6, 7 sets of all the things they would need because they knew they would crash on a daily basis. They were the people. They were the doers. And that's what that second chapter is about. Third chapter. Oh, that was a third chapter. Sorry. Fourth chapter. Protect your valuables and give away gifts. Meaning, a lot of times we feel like we can't do our work because it has to be something that someone would buy. But your valuables are the things that you need to protect, which are the things that if you gift them and people say, oh, you should put that on Etsy, keep it as a gift. Don't feel like you need to monetize all of your valuables. Enjoy your creativity and don't feel like you have to turn it into a side hustle that earns money. The ordinary plus extra attention equals the extraordinary. What this means is simply being in the ordinary day and making that bite that you take of your breakfast be so extraordinary. Going on a walk and breathing in the air and making that ordinary thing extraordinary. Next chapter. Number 6, slay the art monsters. Art is for life, not the other way around. He talks about Andy Rooney, who was interviewing on 60 Minutes, Kurt Cobain. He was talking about Kurt Cobain and about his art. And he said, you know, most artists create art that's better than who they are as a human being. Well, let's get rid of the art monsters. There are good people, there are mediocre people, there are bad people. There's bad art, there's mediocre art, there's good art. You can see an expression in someone who's deeply troubled. Stop trying to make the person who made the art the monster. Let art just be art. That's my interpretation of what he's saying. In other words, I'm just going to say this. Let's stop looking at people as good or bad. And let's find out what's real for us and what works for us. You're allowed to change your mind. To change is to be alive. So if something doesn't work for you, change your mind. If something does work for you, and later on it doesn't, change your mind. You don't have to be set in, these are the rules and this is how it's always going to be. Stay soft, stay open. Life is about changes. I think we're on chapter 8. And it's about keeping your business area tidy. When in doubt, tidy up. Sometimes you need to keep your tools tidy and your materials messy, is what Austin Kleon says. There's a whole lot going on right now about very simplistic, minimalistic, and tidy spots. But realize it's okay if you're going to be messy, if you're going to be creative, if you have to have all the things out on the table. Just take time every once in a while to tidy up. Sometimes that gives yourself a mindset that helps you see things more clearly, but don't demonize the fact that maybe you have a messy workspace. Demons hate fresh air, meaning that if you can't get to a better mindset, if it's really hard for you to connect to your badass, get outside, walk, get some fresh air. And plant your garden. He's talking about being able to plant seeds today. Maybe you do need a garden. Maybe it will teach you many things to be creative. But the world takes place in heartbeats, in sunrises, in moonrises, in seasons, and then it returns to spring. So be aware of the different seasons. Plant gardens and realize not everything's meant to grow right now. Some of the things you and I are doing today may not spring forth until another season, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't do the good work. When I was reading this book, I wasn't as impressed with Keep Going as I was with the first 2 books. But when I finished, Austin Kleon had wrapped me in again to this mindset of, in these times that are troubled, we all need ways to keep going and not give up. We need ways to keep our mind steady, our will strong, and our badass ready. If this book helps you do that, then I'm glad I shared it with you today. Go out, keep going.